Hey, everybody, welcome back to part 2 of the Old Glory Block of the Month here at Creating Hanley. I'm Kimberly, your host, and I'm just going to dive right in because I don't want to waste any more time. Now, on the previous video, I showed you that I had actually made a mistake. I made this block a different way from the way that it said in the directions of the book. So the book that I'm following along, 100% credit to this book. On page 295, Old Glory, not this, right here. And we are making this portion right there. So in the previous video, I already had this done, and then I showed you the two different, I explained the two different ways that I made that block. And what I had done with this one was I made a square and a square. Basically, I made this as the square, and then I had these leftover triangles, and I knew, hair flying around, and I knew that it's kind of like when you build furniture and you have leftover pieces. You're like, uh-oh. Should have all these screws left over. That's kind of what I did here. I was like, uh-oh, I have triangles left over. Because in this block, they are built into this patch, which makes a 4 patch, which makes this unit. So I had made this just from creativity. And then I had these leftover triangles, and I was like, my block is supposed to look like this. So then I had to attach it as a square and a square. So that's how that worked. And you can see if you really pay attention. And this part, I kind of like top stitched a little bit because the thread or the fabric didn't catch in the seam allowance. So I just did a little quilt top stitch there. But if you look at it closely, you can see that. You can see the difference in how same size, same structure, same direction of the arrows and such and the pinwheel, but two different methods of constructing it. So right now we are going to do this way. Hopefully I don't do it this way. Yeah, so we're going to do it this way. And I just spent a whole lot of time cutting new pieces when I had already had them cut. So anyway, I have these units and I have these pieces cut. So, but what I did do with this is I labeled them. So if you look in the book, you will see the or the previous video. You will hear or you will see the dimensions that you need. But I had them labeled. So in the book, it has them labeled. This is 3 1/4 inch squares. I know that for a fact. 3 1/4 inch squares. These are 2 7/8 square. I'm pretty sure 2 7/8. And then this one is 3 3/4 inch square. Okay. So A is 3 1/4 inch, one in blue, one in cream or white. Your 2 7/8 in cream, 2 of those, and 2 squares, 3 3/4 inch in blue. Okay, now it's important to label these because we're going to cut them diagonally. One gets cut in half only, and the other gets cut into quarters. So that is why labeling is very important. I'm going to bring this a little bit closer, and I'm just going to cut it on here, bring this down a little bit so maybe you can see. Okay, so the directions say A in cream, that's this one, A in cream gets cut diagonally. So let's see if I can bring this in a little bit closer for you to see. Where is it? So that right there, that little teeny tiny X that gets cut diagonally twice. And then this gets cut diagonally once right there, B. C is the same. Gets cut diagonally once. Okay. Now, if you want to, you can mark the back with a pencil And you can take, I don't need this big thing. You can take your straight edge. Sorry for walking in front of the camera there. You can take your straight edge and draw a line if you want to, but I'm just gonna cut it. So I'm gonna start with C because it's right here. I'm just taking C, and the directions say C gets cut once diagonally. Each one gets cut once diagonally. And here's the deal. It's important to cut it first before sewing. And I said that in the previous video because that was one of the mistakes I made. I knew how to make a pinwheel, and so I was just going to sew it. Don't do that. Cut it first. Then sew the triangles together. That is an error that you don't want to make. So make sure that you cut these first. Okay? All right, let's show you that again. So, this is C. C gets cut diagonally in half one time. And I'm not drawing a line. I'm just going to cut using my rotary cutter. Okay, so now we have 4. And these big 4 triangles are the outside here. Okay, so we can set those aside right now. And if you want to continue to label them, just put your label back on. Now for the A's, they get cut diagonally twice. So if you have a label on, make sure you take the labels off so you don't cut through the labels. They get cut diagonally twice. And again, make sure you do all your cutting first before you're sewing. Now, if you have a twirly mat, you can use your twirly mat. Otherwise, keep this down in place. Don't move it. Just move your ruler and then cut it from the other angle. And I have a twirly mat, but it's up there. So, keep these all in the same direction. And then, same with this. You don't really need to see I'm cutting, but diagonal to diagonal. Now I have made a video on how to cut. Actually, I included in some of my earlier videos, I included how to place your ruler. I have a cat fur so that you cut precisely. Okay, I just stuck my label to my mat. All right, keep that labeled. Now B for the cream or the white, I'm using white. And this is 2 7/8, 2 of these squares, 2 7/8. B only gets cut in half diagonally one time. Okay. Can you cut them both at the same time to save time? Yes, you can. I'm not because I want to try to keep it precise as much as possible. Sometimes it doesn't work. Okay, there we go. All right, super. Now, place this out of the way. We will put the whole thing together. So, I'm going to push this back a little bit. You want to kind of set this up so that you're creating your 4 patch. All right, so I know this is going to create a square. So if I put these small like this, here we go. That creates a space that I need to fill. Okay, now I'm going to explode this out a little bit. And then, All right, I'm gonna follow my template right here. And so if I do this and okay, so this is creating a four patch. Okay. And then like that. Yeah, like that. Let's glue that here. And then, where does this go? This isn't right. That's right. Okay. There we go. We're getting there. Okay. So you can kind of see there's a pinwheel with these already. And I want to make sure that these points are going in the same direction, creating a pinwheel motion. Now we have to put these together. And these little pinwheels go in the center too. So I believe this is going to be the direction that they go. All right. Believe that is the case. And then, again, I'm not even following the directions. Again, that's how I get myself into trouble. Okay, this looks like, it's like a puzzle. I think I just like to do this to make it a puzzle. But see how these are coming together? So if I explode these out, these four patches look like so. There we go. And I believe that is correct. Okay. Super. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with these little triangles. And I'm going to put right sides together. And I'm going to sew on a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Oh, there's a kitty cat. Hi, kitty. All right. 1/4 inch seam allowance. What happened? What happened, kitty cat? And so that I don't get myself mixed up, I'm not going to chain piece. I'm just going to make the patch as I go. Okay, so now I need to bring my iron in a little bit closer. So you guys can possibly see that. Okay, now already, did I screw up already? No, I did not. That's right. That's how that goes. Okay. Now I'm going to put this on. And I'm going to trim this dog ear off. Just because it creates more bulk. And already it's looking a little wonky. Okay. 1/4 inch seam allowance. Uh-oh. I have problems with the problems with the thread. Of course. Of course. While I'm filming. Of course. Of course that would happen. Yeah. All right, guys. Now, see what happened? I lost a thread. It's all a problem. So, I try to do this quickly. I try to get things done. And they just, I don't know, there's always a problem. There's always a frickin' problem. Okay. Open this up. I just like to film once. One time. Just one raw. All done. Just do it and done. Okay? That's how I like to do it. Because I don't have time to edit. And I don't really know what I'm doing when I edit. I should take some lessons. Anyway, here we go. It's putting this 4 patch together, okay? So right sides together. Line up the corners, line up the edges, corners, edges. And because this is a triangle, I'm going to start with a leader. And now I've made the 4 patch. Okay, that's what it looks like. Iron this open. And this is what this is what 1 patch looks like. Okay. How much time are we on? We're at 17 minutes already? Okay, that's where I want to end because I don't want to go any further. I mean, as far as time goes. But you guys can see how this works, right? So, I'm going to explode this out so you can see it a little bit more clearly. Move all this stuff out of the way so you can see it. This is what it is together. This is what it is together. Okay? It's the same for all of them. They're just quarter turned. So, you make your little quarter triangle here. Well, this is a half. Yeah, you make your little quarter triangle right here. Right sides together. Sew on this line. Open that up. Now, you put this triangle here. So, this is a unit. Attach it right here. This side face down. 1/4 inch seam allowance. Open that up. Now, this is a unit. And you could see that creates a straight edge right here for this triangle to meet. Right sides down, right sides together. I should say right sides together, pretty sides together, face sides together, 1/4 inch seam allowance. Open that up, and now you have your second patch. Okay? Another one of these. You do that 2 more times. 1, 2. Now you have your 4 patch. You make sure the pinwheel is in the middle. Okay? So it's going to be like this. Your pinwheel is in the middle. Make sure these points are going in the same direction so you have movement. And voila, you have created your pinwheel for the Old Glory. This part is easy. You just take your stripes, alternate red, white, start with red at the top, and you end with red at the bottom. Super easy. 1/4 inch seam allowance. All you do, face sides together, right? You have your white or your cream, face sides together, 1/4 inch seam allowance. Open that up. Put your next. Actually, I would do 2 at a time. So what I did was I made this unit red, white, red. So you put that together, and then once you have your pinwheel, you put those 2 units together, and now you have your top unit. And then you do your bottom unit, okay? And then you put those together. Got it? All right, guys. So I hope that helps. I know it's fast, but that's how I like to do it. And I don't want to spend any more time, and I can't fast forward through the edit. So have fun making this. Let me know how it goes. I'll see you on the next video. Check this one out right here. Bye.